Hey guys, Star Wars Day is coming up, and on this occasion I'm going to turn this into this. This one is about 30 years in the making, so join me for our little closure of the speeder's sad story. As you can see, this Snowspeeder is ugly as a butterfly patterned wallpaper, so before repainting it I have to sand off the old paint, disassemble the parts and prime it silver. And while I'm doing this, a little background. Right now I have a love-hate relationship with Star Wars. Nowadays there's an abundance of new Star Wars related materials, some of it of questionable quality. Looking at you, Acolyte. And since I will always watch a new release, the passion I once had diminished quite a bit since the sequel trilogy. But I still love the aesthetics of this universe, mainly the vehicles and other props. When I was a kid, there was no internet, no new movies aside from the OT, and the only way to experience more Star Wars was through books, games and toys. I got this Snowspeeder from my Dutch grandfather when I was on vacation in Netherlands, in about 1994 I guess, and I was stoked to get my hands on it right away. Granddad was a model maker himself and wanted to teach me some techniques, but I guess I was too young, too eager and too dumb to pay attention to his advices, and ended up putting the thing together carelessly and covered it with too much paint, so the speeder turned out pretty ugly, but at the time I didn't care. But after a while it became a sore in the eye, so I tried to repaint it, and it came out even worse. So now, after about 30 years from then, I'm remaking it for the last time. And this time though, it will not be the look that most of you are familiar with, but rather my own take on the vehicle. You see, the Hot Battle Snowspeeder is iconic but was set in this scenario forever, and since it's a big galaxy, I came up with another story to set it in. But before that, let me talk a bit about the process. Because the previous paint layers effectively covered the paneling seams to the point of them being barely visible, I'm attaching various new panels from a styrene sheet to fit the theme of my story and to add some interesting details. This is also an exercise with painting. I've seen many videos where very talented people painted their models and miniatures in this way, so I wanted to try it out and practice myself. Painting with an airbrush was also a bit challenging since I was struggling to figure out the correct flow of paint and the airbrush itself, because in some cases the paint would go as intended and sometimes I had to move the handle back and forth just to spit out some paint. Maybe the compressor was producing not enough air pressure, or maybe it's the airbrush's fault, I don't know. But in the end I was able to paint the whole thing, so I'm good for now. In the middle of painting I realized that the color scheme I chose for the paint job was strongly resembling the color scheme of Boba Fett, and I briefly pondered changing the story background but quickly dismissed it. It's more fun to create some original characters than jamming a well-established one into something just because it looks similar. As for the new and/or missing pieces, the gun is just some plastic piece I found in my Greebies box, and it was perfect for this since the original was lost to time. The window was previously painted black in entirety because when I was originally gluing it in, the glue left some pretty ugly marks and fogged it, so I just hid the crimes with paint later. To remake them I used some transparent plastic from a packaging to make new ones. And last but not least, I made new figures by squeezing the clay until it became two very ugly but somewhat resembling the actual look creatures, which you will see soon enough. Speaking of which, here's how the story goes. After the Battle of Endor, the rebel forces began to withdraw from the Sanctuary Moon's battlefield, and some of the Ewoks that took part in the battle, intrigued and amazed by the technology they experienced, wanted to tag along. Especially two of them, Teek and Kibo, which were especially interested in speeder bikes they saw zooming through the forest. Both Ewoks departed from Endor with rebels and ended up on Ord Mantell in an old garage owned by a former podracer pilot, Ben Quadinaras. Together they found an old wreck of a T-47 speeder in a junkyard, which they restored and modified to make it faster and sturdier. The old pilot taught young Ewoks how to operate it, and sometime later they entered a series of tournaments modeled after the infamous demolition contest, held previously by Jabba the Hutt. Teek and Kibo won several of those tournaments, thanks to the teachings of Quaderneros and their own wit. And there you have it. Let me know if you liked the makeover and if the story is even remotely interesting and fitting the Star Wars universe. Also, I want to quickly talk about the future of this channel. As for now, the content was quite random, so I'd like to focus more on kit bashing and scratch building for the time being, so we'll see where it will get us. I also want to post more regularly, with the ultimate goal being a new video every week. For now, it's difficult for me because of my work and other stuff, you know, like life, which I'm trying to have but kinda failing at. But I really hope I could get there eventually. I will be doing live streams on Twitch too, and I'd be very happy if you could come over and spend some time with me, because it's more fun to talk to someone other than my microphone and a monitor. Also, if you like what I do, there's a link in the description where you can buy me a coffee. It doesn't even have to be an expensive one like Starbucks or something. No, just a regular coffee from a small coffee house, you know. That would be tremendous help, seriously. Anyway, that's it for now. Like, subscribe and all that stuff. Have a good coffee and brush your teeth. See ya.